You are live. We're live here so far already on the bets are now and how long she stays alive. I like him. We're back here again. I need another camera, I think. So, hey there, all of you on YouTube. I'm talking to you guys first. Remember, we got the live chat. If you got any questions or anything like that, we got a great show tonight with our guest, Don Martin, and I'm getting ready. The countdown is coming in my ear right now from the radio show. So stand by. We'll be right with you. Você está vendo o YouTube Live? It should be on YouTube Live, right? Dentro the Real Estate Show. Counting down. Yes? And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show, all about, come on, you guessed it, it's real estate. My name is Eric Woolen, and we are live here Monday through Friday from 8 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, so adjust your clocks accordingly. We are live Monday through Friday on this channel here, our original channel that started 21 years ago on AM 1470 Money Talk Radio, part of the Money Talk Radio Network. We're also on the FM dial at 95.3, 96.9, and 103.9. So from end to end on the FM dial, and also on the iHeartRadio network, which is literally, that knocks down all of the boundaries, all of the walls. The Real Estate Show has been broadcasting here, helping folks learn more about real estate, get more strength, more foundation, more financial ideas about real estate, literally than any other program anywhere, bar none, no exceptions. So my name is Eric Wallner, and today is Thursday. And you know what that means? That means that we are on our ATM edition of the Real Estate Show. The ATM standing for About the Money. You can't have a long conversation about real estate, and remember, we're on every day of the week, without coming across the conversation about money, whether it's OPM, other people's money, your money, their money. It really doesn't matter. The money, it matters. Somebody's money's got to come to the table. And that's why we reserved our Thursdays to talk about that. And one of the conversations that's been very important here on the Real Estate Show, especially during the COVID-19 epidemic, especially during all of the different things that are coming up here on the radio and on the news, is the fact that you can literally transform debt into wealth. In fact, the smart money does that all the time, and that's why they are the wealthy folks. And this show here is designed not for the wealthy folks, but for every day. We want to show average people how to do above average things so that they can join the crowds. There's no better way, to be a more patriotic person, because I always tell people that real estate is the most patriotic business that there is. After all, we're dealing in the very nature of the land of the United States of America. There's no more patriotic thing to do than to be in the real estate business and to own a piece of this glorious country. And especially, there's no more appropriate time of the year, as we are now walking down the line here. We're 2 days away from the 4th of July, America's birthday, 244 years old. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? When you look at it in terms of history, how long the Roman Empire was around and so forth, it's actually still a very short period of time. And one of the challenges that everyone is seeing, and everyone has seen during history, is that when you're number one in the world, you are the number one target also. And there's a lot of reasons and a lot of countries that would love to see America trip up over itself. Now, one way to fortify this country is to have a strong financial foundation. And that's why our conversation today about the turning debt into wealth is so critical. And last week, and I promised you that I would have him back this week, our guest, Mr. Don Martin, my partner in crime, my fellow entrepreneur. We're going to talk about the idea of how to turn debt into wealth using the automatic landlord debt solution. And let me tell you unequivocally, before we even get started, that I have looked around for different solutions on how to reduce debt faster and grow wealth faster. There's no better system than what I'm about to talk to you about tonight. So without further ado, first of all, I want to say hi to my good friend, fellow entrepreneur, and patriot, Don Martin. How are you doing tonight? Well, if this country were financially stable, and we are, unfortunately, there are lots of people that would like you to believe that we aren't. But the more financially stable that if more people could be, a lot of times I go through the numbers on our Wednesday show, which is our midweek report, and periodically I'll talk about the different counties and I'll talk about the percentage of owner-occupied property in this country, which is just one of the most wonderful things. We are about 60% owner occupied and 40% non-owner occupied. And so that is a testament to a lot about what our country is about. But what I see really lacking is in the course of education. Most people don't have enough access to the education about the things that matter and that make more wealth and turn debt into wealth. And that's very contrary. And perhaps maybe a lot of people would say that the banks don't want everyone to know these concepts. But on this show, we're going to open up and tell you all about the concepts, including what the best banks, the best insurance companies, the top and the most wealthy people in the world, the little secrets that they use in order to turn debt into wealth. So let me ask you, because I love posing a question. Last week I asked everyone the question: are you 6 months behind, or are you ready for the 6 months ahead? And I declared, by the way, and I declared that July 1st was my new January 1st. And even tomorrow, as we wrap up the week, I'm going to have champagne on our show, and we are going to celebrate the new year. Because to me, July 1st was a brand new beginning. Forget all the past, forget the COVID statistics, forget all the lockdown, the quarantines, forget all of the excuses that people are now using for why that they have basically lost 6 months. We are going to cram in the next 6 months, the good 6 months of 2020, and we're going to make 2020 still be the best year that we have ever had. So here's the question that I want to pose. If there was a way for you to be debt free in 10 years or less without altering your current cash flow, so this means that everybody out there now, and I'll only put one asterisk, one little condition, that if you earn more than you make, everything that I say applies. If you are falling behind, in other words, you spend more than you make, we're going to have a different conversation. And it's one more reason why I'm going to ask you to contact me so that you and I can have a personal one-on-one conversation. And you can do that simply either by setting an appointment, going to automaticlandlord.com. At the top of the right page, on the right side top, you're going to be able to see it says book an appointment. You can book a free appointment, and we're going to talk about how to turn that upside down situation around. But here's the question. If there was a way for you to be debt free in 10 years or less without altering your current cash flow, in other words, what you've got coming in, you don't have to have an extra dollar. What you have going out, you don't have to spend an extra dollar. Would that be worth 30 minutes of your time? And that's today's show. And if the answer to that is yes, if there was a way for you to be debt free in 10 years or less without altering your current cash flow, would that be worth 30 minutes of your life? Then I'm going to tell you that you are in the right place at the right time. And what I want to talk a little bit about is the system. And I want to give away a little bit of what we're talking about. Now, we can't go into all of it. And that's why, Don, can I make a public confession? You and I have been trading phone calls. You have been so busy this last week with this. I have been so freaking busy this whole week that you and I have traded phone calls, and with the best of intentions, we have been unable to talk since the last time you and I were right here live on the air. And you and I can laugh because, quite frankly, that's a good thing. But we promised our listeners last week that we were going to set a time so that we could have the workshop. Now, you and I have actually two pieces of agenda that we want to share with our listeners. Number one is that we want to share more about this system. How do you become debt-free in 10 years or less without altering your income or your expenses? without altering your cash flow. And we're going to do that starting, can I put you on the spot, next Thursday, right after this show. I got your commitment? And I'm sorry to put you on the spot like this, right? Live on the air. But I guess if anything, this tells our listeners how live, unrehearsed, and raw and real this is. So, so I love it. I love it. I love it. I love you, brother. So next Thursday, starting 30 minutes after our regularly scheduled show, we're going to go into the nitty-gritty breakdown of how you can be debt-free in 10 years or less without altering your current cash flow. That's a promise, by the way. That's a promise. And not only will it be worth the 30 minutes that you're listening to right now today and on next Thursday's show, because we'll go each week, we're going to break it down a little bit more, but we're going to talk about why you need a system like the automatic landlord debt solution. And we're going to talk about everything that we do, everything from how we manipulate the bank's float, how we manipulate the interest, how we now sort of turn the tables on the very strategies that banks, Wall Street, and the wealthy use. We're going to now share it with everybody here on the show, so that whether you have one mortgage or 10 mortgages, in fact, to tell you the truth, the more mortgages you have, the more valuable this is, because on an average mortgage, you're going to pay back between 2.5 and 3 times the original amount you borrow. So, for example, you borrow for $100,000, you're going to, over the course of the 30 years of that mortgage, pay back 2.5 to 3 times, or 250 to 300,000. Meaning that when you buy one house for you, you buy 2 houses for the bank. How about if we could flip that around so that you could buy 2 houses for you and let the bank make only 1 house on that deal? If I could show you that strategy alone, now imagine for our landlords out there who have multiple properties, that what I'm talking about is tens of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you won't have to pay. And to paraphrase and quote my good friend Abraham Lincoln, that a penny saved is a penny earned. And we like to earn lots of pennies, lots and lots of pennies. So Don, I'm gonna go one step further, and I hope you are ready for tonight. So I got you to commit to Thursdays right after this show. We're going to do a breakdown of how the automatic debt solution works, piece by piece, and we're going to take probably what do you estimate? 60 minutes? 75 minutes? Okay. All right, so if we can do it in under 60 minutes, but block out 60 minutes after next week's show if you really want to learn the nitty-gritty ins and outs of this program. And I promise you that if it's not worth your time, call me up and tell me, because that has never happened. What you're going to learn on our workshop next week is worth not only its weight in gold in money, but it's going to change your philosophy. It's going to change, I think, even your oversight on how real estate and how money really works. And then I'm gonna go one step further. Don, last week you and I shared with everybody that we are expanding our team, and that As you can see, Don and I have been so busy, we couldn't even talk to each other this week. And this is why we need so much that maybe you need to come to Thursday's program to listen to why and understand the program, how it works. Then what I'm going to ask you, Don, I don't know, how about Monday night? We have a second workshop that talks about our expansion team, what the income opportunity, and for those of you who are out there maybe thinking that I might like to find another gig, another second stream of income. If you like what you heard on Thursday and you think that even just by sharing it, you would love to earn an extra $1,000, $3,000 a month in our expansion effort, you want to come to our Monday night. Don, can you block out Monday nights every other week? Yes. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. You and I, we're going to grow this big and we're going to make changes. We're going to change people's lives with this program. I am too, and you and I have been at this a long, long time. And in fact, we've been not only at it, but perfecting it and improving it. And, to be able to, when you think about it, if you really just think about it, we've talked about examples and next week, and particularly in our workshop next week after our show, when you think about that, if you can eliminate 1/3, or I should say, eliminate 2/3 of your loan, that means that, for example, if you had a $1,000 a month payment, okay, which is typical on today probably around a $200,000 loan, $1,000 a month payment. That means that you're over the life of the loan, you're going to pay at least 360,000. There you go, roughly 20, almost 2 times what the loan amount originally was. 360 times. And if you could cut off 240 of those payments, that's $240,000 on that size of a loan. And now you can use that savings. And now imagine, not only did you save the money, but if you now take that money and invest the money, you're going to now use your money to build your wealth, not someone else's. You're going to eliminate your debt in 1/3 of the time or less. And we talked about last week, for those of you, if you want to listen to last week's show, we talked about an accelerator. In other words, if you have what I call disposable or extra money at the end of the month, and you start to look, now, if I had an extra $100, I could either put it into my checking account, earning me 0%. I could put it into a money market account, earning 0.0 something percent, or I could now look around, where could I invest my money? And I could put it in the stock market. Stock market's doing phenomenally well. It was up another 400 points today. With the jobs reports that we're hearing, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised on how this economy turns around coming out of the COVID virus. I think that we could have gone either way come this coming Friday. In fact, they released the numbers all a day early due to the 4th of July, and the numbers were very favorable. I think once again, we want to watch what happens come the first Friday after the end of the month of July. You're going to see some numbers that will be very critical in each one of these months. But we were pleasantly surprised at the beginning of June. We were more than pleasantly surprised again in the end of July. And let me ask all of our listeners out there now, what Don and I are talking about has nothing to do with politics. I think you've noticed that what we're talking about is you. We're talking about how to create your own personal economy, how to create your own financial stability, regardless of what's going on out there in the marketplace. You could have a flat marketplace, and if I'm paying down my debt faster, I'm building my wealth faster. So forget the other economy out there. But if we're also riding on the coattails of a rising tide, and here's all I ask you, is that when you get onto an airplane and you're going to your favorite destination, I don't think you ask the pilot what his denomination, what his religious denomination is, what his political affiliation is, what his race is. All you care is that he is the best pilot on the airplane at the time, and that he's very good at taking off and landing. Because everything else really, let me take care of. Just get me there, So let's all vote for this government, for them to do a great job at what they do, and then let us entrepreneurs do what we do. And so I'm excited, Don, and I'm going to tell you, after putting you on the spot, I really appreciate your spirit of entrepreneurialism in going along with this story. So mark your calendars. Don, we did something that I've never done before, which is we never even took a break in today's show. So so thank you for that. We'll have to mark that down in the history books, but we're out of time, unfortunately. So mark your calendars for next Thursday, right after the show. We're going to do a workshop, and we're going to break down the automatic debt solution into the nitty gritty. You're going to want to listen to that very much. So make sure you attend next week's show. We're going to provide the link on how to do that. But unfortunately, I am out of time. If I had more time, I'd go on and on and on, as you can tell. Don, thank you for joining me. Don will be on with me again next Thursday. And then remember, stay tuned for the next 45 to 60 minutes after the show are going to be gold. So that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up right here. This is Eric Woolner signing off for another live edition of the Real Estate Show. Until then, drive safe, wash your hands, and drive safe. Hey, Phil. Patricia. And 1 second, Don. Hanging up there. What's up, brother?
Really faint.
What's that?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Good stuff, brother.
Very good stuff. And I'll tell you that I don't know whether it was adrenaline, excitement, or I am so excited about this project that you and I are embarking on.
It's going to be awesome. It's been fun for me so far with the whole platform and everything. And now we have just so much happening. By the way, I did talk to listen to this. Jason Cowan, the guy who handles the web solutions side of the company, in regards to like the consumer side, the consumer facing side, he said he has a brand new platform that he just brought on that he can actually customize any site we want for this, and it's ready to go. We've had it for a while, but this one he can really, really do some great stuff. And
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
So you remember the website you were talking about from that Tom had?
Yeah, us-shredder.com.
Yeah, exactly. So that particular site, Tom was actually working with what's called the Web Centers division. So the Web Centers division is the division of the company that handles websites for small and medium-sized businesses. Well, I talked to the guy who runs that division for the company. His name's Jason Pelland. And I was telling him, and I reached out to Tom too, and I was telling Jason that, what does he have that we can use from a consumer-facing side of things for you and I and anybody else that wants to use it to have, besides our mini site, which is just, shopfinancial.com, was it?
Yeah, which is a nice website, but it's kind of watered down. It's not converting is really the bottom line.
The shop financial essentially. He's doing it for all the divisions. So that was really cool.
Yeah, because I've been talking to a lot of guys in the marketing world, and obviously the number one thing, the panacea, the dream is that if you could just put out an email, a website, a radio show, and then just drive people to a converting website, that at least if it doesn't do anything else, first it registers them, but if it gets them to sign up, then you can automate the system.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I've been working with another company, and now I'm starting. I got it where I had 2 yesterday. I had 2 today convert in on a credit repair platform.
Oh, nice, great.
And that's why the closest thing that I've seen to a really good website that I think might convert, that is well laid out, was the US Debt Shredder. And I would love to be able to just get that, and I'd like to put it up ASAP.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can get him to work that out right away, because it is in the platform, so it can just be immediately replicated.
Right.
It isn't a bad thing. If Tom won't care, he'd be fine with it.
If Tom is cool, we can start with that and then do whatever whatever the company was. If the company has that already compliance approved, and I don't want to do anything that gets anybody in trouble.
Yeah, no, it won't be a problem at all. I could, again, like I said, Jason's my good buddy. In fact, I raised him up in the business. He's not my team, but I coached him a lot because he was super young. We both started in our early 20s. And
have you really been with Market America 10 years? Or 21 years?
21 years in July, brother.
Shit, man, you've been in that as long as I have been on the air.
Yeah, crazy, right? We got some swag here, brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my goodness. Hey, by the way, I'm down 6 pounds in a week.
Wow. What did you do different?
Just following the TLS program. We have a weight loss program, and it works great. I honestly just made this decision, stay focused, stay on it, eat good, work out, and I haven't been really adamant on the fasting side of things. But I've been aware, I should say, of that kind of intermittent fasting, eating up until about 8 or so, and then not eating again until 12 to 2, somewhere between 12 and 2. So, like an intermittent fast.
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. My girlfriend got me on that whole intermittent fasting thing. And I told you, I lost 30 pounds
That's awesome.
and over, 90 days. But still, that has, I think it has reset my metabolism. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, also too, you have more energy, which is crazy because you're almost reading up a bunch on it, and like they say, when you're digesting, your digestive system burns tons of
your energy.
A lot of energy. So it takes up a lot of energy. So you have more energy when you're at certain times you eat and certain times you don't. So pretty cool. So, hey, since obviously, do you want to real quickly go on the Facebook group again? Because my Zoom's up. I know you didn't end up getting a chance to get on, but you want to go on there and just do a quick 10 minutes?
Did you broadcast? Because I jumped on not even till the second. In fact, honestly, I have never not done a break. And I hope I don't hear from some of my other sponsors tomorrow saying, "Hey, Eric, we didn't get our commercial."
Right.
But
I was surprised. I was looking around corner also, like he usually breaks out. And I didn't notice.
I was just so excited. Like I said, I had this a very productive, and I have this routine where I work real hard all day long, and then at 5 o'clock or so, I break. I go for a 3-mile run, the 3-mile bike ride. Then I go for a swim. I have dinner, but when I go for my run is probably one of my most. I'm either brainstorming. I do a lot of thinking during my 30-minute run.
I get that. I'm the same way.
And sometimes it's aggressively tackling what my challenges are. And today it was a run. I was just running the whole time thinking in terms of gratitude, who I have in my life and all the things that I'm, just blessed to have.
I love that.
And that's why I was just such a high mood that it was, in spite of, worldwide protests, the one of the worst pandemics in history and everything else, I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. It was cool too. Maleva just let me know that the podcast is just launched. So I'm just waiting for it to pop up on my Apple Podcast, but on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, it's available, and then I can upload it on the YouTube as well. So we can put that out on the Real Estate Show Facebook group, so people can listen to the podcast when I interviewed you.
Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, really sweet. So so do you want to jump on there and do a quick 10-minute live broadcast on there real quick? You want to do it, or?
I'm here. I'll do it. All
right. Jump on that webinar. Just make sure you have it in the email. Yeah. Jump on the link that I sent you real quick.
Is this Facebook? All right. So hang on a second. I got to go to the reason I asked you if it's Facebook, because I got to know whether I need a vertical camera or a horizontal camera. If I need to be, let's see here.
I think on your computer, probably the best bet.
On my computer? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to my Gmail. Gmail, Zoom link for registration, vet shader overview. Do. 1 second. Open Zoom meetings. Join video. Join with computer audio. Camera. Saying yes. Let's see here. Choose virtual background. No.
Just go to the bottom of the screen there, Eric. You'll see mute, unmute, and then stop, start video. There's a button right at the bottom.
I see start video, and I'm pressing it. And if for some reason it says cannot start video, failed to start video, please select another video camera in settings. Let's see. I'll choose the virtual background. Let's see what happens.
Seems like the computer, the camera you're trying to use.
Yeah, my lens is open. Share screen video. General.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Let me see if by chance I'm still on. There we go. Uh-oh, that's dangerous. I hope I didn't say anything bad. Might have to